neighbor, this is Kurt with eTrailer, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Thule WingBar Edge roof rack system for our 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee L. Now, if you have any experience with this roof rack system, please leave a comment below and share it with us. We do like to use your experiences to help other neighbors find the perfect item for them. So we would appreciate it if you left a comment below. Now, before we get into too many details about this rack, let's go ahead and take a look at exactly how much space this is going to take up. It is a fixed mount system, so we're not going to be able to adjust our crossbar spread. But the way we have it right here, if we're going from the center of one T-track to the center of the other, we're right at 27.5 inches, and that's a good spread. Generally speaking, most rooftop accessories require 24 to 30 inches. So being within that range is going to allow for most accessories to go up here with this particular crossbar spread. We also want to take a look at how much height this is adding to the vehicle for any kind of clearance issues. And we're going to take a look at how much space we have between the roof and the bottom of the bar, just in case you have a working sunroof or moonroof and you want to see if that's something you could still use while these are up here. So as we take that measurement, these bars are going to add about 5 inches of height to the vehicle if you're worried about clearance issues. And underneath the bar, we're looking at probably 3.5, maybe 3 3/4 inches of space that you have for that working sunroof or moonroof. Now, this Jeep Grand Cherokee L has a flush mounted rail here. And this is also flush crossbars, which means that they're not going to overhang beyond the towers themselves. Now, while that does create a lot more aesthetically pleasing of a look, a little bit cleaner, more factory look, it can provide issues with accessibility because everything is going to have to be mounted more to the center of the vehicle. The other thing I wanted to point out too is that these rubber pieces that fit over the rails, they're intended to fit several different rails on several different makes and models of vehicles, so they're not always going to be a perfect fit. The fit that we got out of these on the Jeep Grand Cherokee L, they're not quite flush, there is some spacing, however, they really can't be fitted any more than that. We've got everything up here about as tight as it could be. Now I'm going to go ahead and get up here and kind of show you what I meant by some of those accessibility issues that you may run into with a flush system. As I come up here, this actually has a pretty low step in the door, and while I am able to get up here and get to most things, I cannot reach all the way across. So if I do have a roof box or anything like that, it's going to be really hard for me to reach back here, up here, all the way across. In the case of that, I have another item I'd like to recommend for you. This is called a Moki door step. Very, very simple tool. And what it's going to do is open up. We're going to latch it inside of this door hook right here. And that's going to create a 400-pound capacity platform for us to get a little higher up. So as I step up on this, now all of a sudden the rooftop is about waist high. I'm able to get to anything I need to. This is also going to help out too when we're mounting our rooftop accessories. It could be a little difficult to reach some of the clamps all the way on this other side if you have a rooftop box that only opens from one side to secure it to the rails. So the Thule WingBar Edge system that we have up here has a 165-pound capacity. Now, despite that capacity, we still want to check our owner's manual and make sure that our roof capacity at least meets or exceeds that. If it doesn't, say the roof has, for example, 140 pounds, then 140 pounds would be our capacity despite what the bar capacity would be. With that being said, if you're somebody that really likes the factory look, a cleaner look up on the roof, maybe you're someone that doesn't use rooftop accessories all that often, I do think that a system like this where the bars come flush is a good system for you to have. However, if utility more than aesthetics is where your heart is, I would probably on this vehicle recommend a set with some overhang or a rooftop basket that's just going to make accessibility to this taller vehicle that much easier for you. Now, before we install our second bar, let's take a look at the components involved. The first set of components here is going to be our custom mounting kit. there are some pieces that come with this kit that are going to be installed in our towers. And this is our 34-inch wing bar. So bar, towers, mounting kit are really the three main things that we're going to be taking a look at as we put it up there. We've already got one of the bars installed. This is going to install the exact same way. So let's take a look at how we get that done. Thule makes that pretty easy for us by labeling their parts kind of in order of how they go in. So you'll see part A, part B, and part C stamped right there. So we're going to start by taking part A. And putting that through right just like that. Once that's done, we're taking part B. You'll see how these notches are lining up under here, and we're going to go ahead and get that attached as well. We'll get it down there nice and flush. Then we're going to take part C. That is going to go over this little lip right here. We're going to put the bolt through the hole there, and then we're going to take this little piece here. Now, one end of this piece is threaded for a bolt. The other end is marked for your special Thule tool that's going to come with your towers. This is a torquing tool, so it'll let you know that you have everything tightened down the way we need it. So we'll take the bolt threaded end, and we're going to go ahead and loosely just get that caught. We want this to have some room because this is how we're going to be attaching and wrapping around our tower. So now that we've got that all done, we're going to go ahead up there and get our custom mounting plate mounted. We've got 3 different sets of bolt holes up here on top of the Grand Cherokee L. Since we're doing crossbars today, we're going to want to use the front 2 sets of holes. You really only want to use these back ones when you're mounting a large roof basket or platform rack. That's where these would come into play. We don't want to have that much of a crossbar spread. There really won't be any accessories that'll take a spread like that if you use the front and the back hole. So now that we've got that all established, let's go ahead and line our plate up and get these bolts threaded in. Now that we got the bolts started, I've got them tightened down most of the way. I did leave them a little bit loose because on these mounting plates, the bolt holes are slotted, which does make it really easy to find the bolt hole and get it to catch and going in, but it could run into some problems if it's inconsistent with what we did on the other side. Being the front bars, I'm going to go ahead and get this to where it slides all the way forward. I've done the same thing on the driver's side. And I'm going to tighten them down at this point, really because I want to kind of help maximize the crossbar spread a little bit. On the back bar, we went ahead and mounted them so they were slid all the way back. While it probably doesn't really add much more than a 1/2 inch of bar space, it's still a little bit more, and it could make it a little more compatible with some of the rooftop accessories that you come across. So now that we've got it slid forward, we're going to go ahead and completely tighten it down. So now we're going to take a look at getting our wing bar mounted to our edge towers. Let's talk a little bit about the bar itself while we have it here. It is an arrow-shaped bar, meaning it's got kind of this aerodynamic, almost ovular shape to it. That's really going to cut down on wind resistance and give a lot less road noise than a circular or a square bar would. Now, this is a track mount. So while you can use clamp-on accessories, this also gives you the ability to use a T-slotted track mount system. You can see right in here where that would work. We can peel this back some so you can get a better view. And that right there is the T-slot for your track mount. Now that we've got all that kind of established about the bars, let's take a look at getting these towers attached. Now this can be a little bit tricky. You'll see on the tower there's this tab right here, and what we're going to need to do is get that pushed down as we slide in And we're looking for that to end up in this notch right here. So let's go ahead and get that in there, and we'll repeat that same process on the other side. So now that we've got both the driver and the passenger side end with the tab in place, we can go ahead and depress our rubber track right back down into its spot. It is important to make sure that we have this fully put in and mounted and flush. This rubber strip not only kind of protects your T-slot from any debris or anything getting into it, it also helps a lot with vibration and road noise. So just one more feature on it that's really going to give you a quieter ride than the round bar or square bar systems would. Now that we have all that in place, let's go ahead and get it on the roof and get it measured for width. Now just before we go up there, I do want to show this feature here. Thule makes it pretty easy to make sure that we measure our bars on either side to make them even. So you can use these gauges here with these letters to measure out what line you're at, and do the same on the other side. When you get, say, both of them, just for example, to say G or H or I, we'll be able to even it out and clamp it down so that you have a perfect crossbar spread. So now that we've got it up here and we've got the bar even, we're going to go ahead and clamp it onto our custom mounting kit here. So we left this loose on purpose, if you'll remember, when we assembled our towers. That's because this is the piece here that's going to end up clamping to it. Now underneath the rubber part that we added on, this cavity right here is really going to fit very snugly and perfectly around here. So we're going to go ahead and drop that down, push it all the way down into place so it's a good snug fit. Then we're going to take our Thule torquing tool and we're going to completely tighten this whole assembly up until we hear that loud click, audible click, that'll let us know that we've got it torqued to spec. So you can see as I'm tightening this part here is getting more and more snug around the mounting kit. It's going to take quite a few turns here because we left it as loose as possible. And we're going to hear a nice loud pop when we've got it torqued enough. There it goes. This side's in solid. Now we can get our face plates to cover the towers, and we will go from there. Now nobody wants to go down the road with everything looking like this, so we're going to go ahead and mount the face plate back onto our towers, and we'll do that very simply by getting it right here and sliding it into place. Now once we have that done, we'll be able to take our flathead and turn this lock core here to lock that down. Now honestly, from a security measure, only needing a flathead to get these removed, that leaves a lot to be desired. However, Thule has a one-key system where you could purchase lock cores with keys to match, not just for all 4 of your towers, but you could also get keys to match any Thule accessories you get up there. So it really makes everything easy for you and difficult for those thieves. But now that we've got that in place, we're going to go ahead and lock it down. Now that we've got everything up here and secure, we're ready to put on our rooftop accessory and hit the road. Now one more thing I want to add about this crossbar system is that when you need to remove the bars for any reason, perhaps you're going somewhere with clearance issues, perhaps you want to run it through an automatic car wash. One thing that I didn't like as much about it is that when you do take off the bars and towers, those custom mounting brackets remain on top of the vehicle. They're really not all that pleasing to the eye, and they can of course be removed and put back on. That just creates more work for you. But overall, I think this would be a great roof rack system for a 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee L owner, for all of those great aesthetic reasons that you can use it for. And I think you could have some great adventures with this in your Jeep Grand Cherokee L. So once again, this is Kurt at eTrailer. Thanks for stopping by.